The low rumbling did not rouse Helena from her sleep. She had been dreaming of Makoviets, the poppy seed rolls Mama used to make, thick and warm with a dusting of sugar. So when the noise grew louder, intruding on her dream and causing her hands to tremble, she clung tighter to the bread, drawing it hurriedly to her mouth. But before she could take a bite, a crash rattled the house, and a dish in the kitchen fell and shattered. She sat bolt upright, trying to see through the darkness. "Ruth!" Helena shook her sister. Ruth, who was curled up in a warm ball with her arms wrapped around the 3 slumbering children between them, had always slept more soundly. "Bombs!" Immediately awake, Ruth leaped up and grabbed one of their younger sisters under each arm. Helena followed, tugging a groggy Michal by the hand, and they raced toward the cellar as they had rehearsed dozens of times, not bothering to stop for the shoes lined up at the foot of the bed. Helena scrambled down the ladder first, followed by Michal. Then Ruth passed 5-year-old Dory below before climbing down herself, the baby wrapped around her neck. Helena dropped to the ground and pulled Dory onto her lap, smelling the sour milk on the child's breath. She cringed as the inevitable wetness of the muddy earth seeped through her nightclothes, then braced herself for the next explosion. She recalled the horrors she'd heard of the Warsaw bombings and hoped that the cottage could withstand it. "Is it a storm?" Dory asked, her voice hushed with apprehension. "Nie, kochana." The child's body relaxed palpably in Helena's arms. Dory could not imagine something worse than a storm. If only it were that simple. Beside her, Ruth trembled. "Jestesfievna, are you certain there were bombs?" Helena nodded, then realized Ruth could not see her. "Tak." Ruth would not second-guess her. The sisters trusted each other implicitly, and Ruth deferred to her where their safety was concerned. Michal leaned his tangle of curls against her shoulder, and she hugged him tightly, feeling his ribs protrude beneath his skin. 12 years old, he seemed to grow taller every day, and their meager rations simply couldn't keep up. 10 minutes passed, then 20, without further noise. "I guess it's over," Helena said, feeling foolish. "Not bombs, then." Helena could sense her sister's lips curling in the darkness. "No." She waited for Ruth's rebuke for having dragged them needlessly from bed. When it did not come, Helena stood and helped Dory up the ladder. Together, they all climbed back into the bed that had once belonged to their parents. Helena thought of the noises early the next morning as she made her way up the tree-covered hill that rose before their house. The early December air was crisp, the sky heavy with foreboding of the harsher weather that would soon come. It had not been her imagination. She was sure of that. She had heard the drone of the airplane flying too low, and the sound that followed had been an explosion. But she could see for miles from this vantage point, and when she peered back over her shoulder, the tiny town and rolling countryside were untouched, the faded rooftops and brown late-autumn brush she had known all her life, showing no signs of damage. She was halfway up the hill when a rooster crowed. Helena smiled smugly, as though she had outplayed the animal at its own game. Pausing, she turned and scanned the horizon again, gazing out at the rolling Malopolska hills. Beyond them, to the south, sat the high Tatras, their snow-capped peaks obscured by mist. She gazed up at the half-crescent moon that lingered against the pale early morning sky. The wind blew then, and the moon seemed to duck behind some silvery gray clouds, casting light around the edges.